Okay, so for the class of students, I created a class called the students, and I defined three variables for the number of first name and last name. Let us now complete this, the definition of this field. So I have here a constant. You know that to define a constant we use the keyword final, but again it should be private. And now I need to use final, and this is of type int, and we have to call it total underscore courses. And here I can't initialize it now because we need to initialize the value for this constant from the value we receive from the constructor. So I will just define it here and then going to initialize it in the constructor when we complete the constructor. Now I need to define this array. The array name is courses and of type course. So again should be private. And the array will not going to be primitive data type. They're going to be of the class course type. So we need to write here the class name, and then we use open and close square brackets, and then write the name of the array. And here I can't complete the definition and say it's new and then start to define the size, because still I don't know the value for the constant. So I'm going to just define here that I need to have an array of type course, and the array name is called courses. And then later in the constructor we're going to complete the initialization for the constants and the initialization for the array once we know the size of this array. But just what you need to know here, this is a thing that you have it for the first time. You define an array of type class, and in this case I have the course class. We have one more field to define, courses enrollment, and of type int, so again should be private. Good, so let us now complete the constructor. So we need to use the NO to initialize the number, and f name to initialize the first name. Same thing for the last name. And now I need to use this value here, t courses, in order to initialize my constants. So my constant name is total courses. Now I need to initialize it by this parameter value, and now I need to initialize my array. Once we know now the value for the total courses, I can use it to initialize the size of the array. My array name is called courses. Now I need to use the keyword new, and then I write here the class courses, and then the size going to be the total courses. And now there is one more field need to be initialized, the course enrollment, and based on the question ask us to initialize this by 0. Okay, now I'm going to hit Ctrl Alt L to reformat the lines. I have it here in my code. Now the constructor is completed. Now we need to complete the add course. Add course, we want to accept an object of type course. We need to initialize, we need to store this object in our array. So we're going to simply call or refer to the first element by the array name, and so we need to say here the value for the index or the subscript for the array. So we need to use this fields, and we know that now this is initialized by 0. So we're going to add here this object to the first array, and the index of this array is referred to by the field courses enrolled. So when I'm going to use this object, I have it from the parameter and initialize it to my array, and the index of this array is simply the value for course enrollment. For the first time, the initial value was 0, and once we initialize these elements, we need to increment this value by 1. So each time we add one course, we increment this index by 1, and at the end, the value for this field, we're going to refer to the actual number of courses stored in this array. So what I need to do is to increment these fields, whether I have it in the separate line like this, or we may have this in just one line and add it here. So let us use the second format. So again, this line I'm going to add this object to the array, and the location of this element going to be the value for the course enrolled. And then once we initialize the object, this course enrolled field going to be incremented by 1. Good. So now we need to complete the toString, and this is the format that we need to print out. So first of all, we need to define an empty string and then start to add this information or to concatenate this line by line. Good. So I'm going to start by defining a variable of type string, and then start to add these strings and the value for this variable inside this local string variable. Let me call it here output. And now I need to assign the first part or the first string, which is student number with colon space, and I need to add the course number, and we also need to add the second line. So after this, I need to append here \n, and then output. Just let us write it this way to make it more readable. I need to append to the output the second part, which is the student name, followed by the value for the first name, then space, then last name. First name followed by a space, and then the last name. And then again we need to add a new line. Then I need to add this string course enrollment. I'm going to append here the string and also we need a new line here. Alright, so now I added these 3 lines. Now I need to write here the information about the courses enrolled for this student. They might be 1 course, might be 2 courses, 3 courses, up to 7 courses. So we can write these lines through a for loop. So I'm going to use here a for loop in order to write here these lines. like this. So I have here my for loop start from the index 0, and we're going to repeat as long as the I less than the course enrollment, because we need, for every single course enrolled, we need to write or to print out one single line. So this is the for loop going to print all these lines, and my indices start here from the value 0 and up to how many courses we have it in the array. In each line here we need to write a number, serial number, starting from 1 and followed by dash, and then the course number and the course title. So first of all, we need to append what I need to write here to my string. So I'm going to add here the serial number. The serial number is starting by 1. Look at here, I have the index started by 0, so I'm going to add this going to add 1 to this I, and notice that here we have a tab space, so we have some alignment here. So I'm going to start by \t to have a tab space followed by a number. This number is I plus 1, because we started here by 0, so we need to start to print the serial number by 1, and then I add here the dash space, and here I need to append the information of the course. This information, it simply will be printed from the toString method we defined in the course class. So we have here this toString return number colon and then the course title. So we need to call this method in order to print this line. So what I need to do here is to call this method. This method is related to an object in my array. So I need to refer to the first element of my array and then invoke the toString of this element. Remember, the element of type course. So in order to invoke this toString method, we need to use the object of type course. And you know that my array store courses, so I need to refer to the first element of my array. I write here the array name called courses and courses sub I, because I need to print the first line and starting from I equals 0. And then we need to move to the next line, so I need to add here new line \n. This is inside my array. Alright, look at this for loop again. We loop here in order to print these lines. You see it in the screen. So we start by the index I equals 0, and we keep repeat printing lines as long as this I less than the course enrolled. And we're going to append this string. We're going to have alignment by a tab space followed by a serial number. The serial number starts by 1, so this is why we add 1 to the I, and then we need to print the course information. The course information is simply going to be printed once we invoke the toString methods. In order to invoke this method, we simply need to write the instance of this class. So here we're going to call each element of this array one at a time. So now after I finished all the elements of the array, we are ready to return this output string. So we have to write return and then the string that I have formed during these lines. Good, so now I have here my toString is completed.